Put in a dip in your hip, a glide in your stride. Welcome to the mothership, the home of the travelers of the universe, with shows throughout the week. Everything you want, everything you could need. From the paranormal to the supernatural, from the spiritual to the unknown, from emotions to comedy. You can find us at Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and so much more. This is Rift Nation Network, the RNN. And now, your featured show. Shall we begin?
Sensitive/offensive content disclaimer. Please note that this podcast may contain material that some listeners may find sensitive, offensive, or disturbing. We strive to create respectful and informative content, but topics discussed may include mature themes such as violence, explicit language, or controversial subjects, triggering content including discussions related to mental health, trauma, or other sensitive issues, explicit language. Occasionally, our guests or hosts may use strong language. While we aim to handle these topics with care and empathy, we encourage listeners to exercise discretion. If you find any content distressing, consider skipping or seeking support. Remember that this podcast is not a substitute for professional advice. If you need assistance, please consult a qualified expert.
Hey, we made it.
What's up?
Oh, got to do it proper.
We don't need professionals. Y'all two do.
I do.
Yeah, well.
I might need one. I might need two.
I might need multiple. Hey, Shayla.
So,
hey, Keith.
What's up? What's up, y'all? What's
Carrie
up?
Lynn.
good afternoon and
Laura
good
Lee,
evening,
everybody.
good morning. There's an echo. Echo. Echo.
Hi, Lori.
Do we have echo?
Hey, Ronnie.
Hello, everyone, travelers and those alike.
What's
Welcome
up, Ronnie?
to the Environment.
I'm trying to I'm
Michelle?
eating emotional support nuggets.
We brought him right on. There was no introduction for this.
Shout out
thing.
Middletown.
None. That's because you want to know why? Because they know who we are.
Middletown in the
That's right.
house.
We're
You're
crazy.
known.
Keith. I remember seeing Keith before.
Once or twice.
I caught Laura Lee.
Everybody's
Laura
jumping on
Lee.
quick.
Carolyn,
Carrie
I
Lynn.
hope I said that right.
Kayla.
Here we got Kayla and Ronnie. Middletown.
Lord, this is our normal intro. That music is our norm intro. We see, now you know what you've been missing on Sundays.
That music was a whole vibe.
Yeah.
Yes.
You can't put me and Howie together.
Like I was literally getting
Not a good idea.
I was literally getting like Enya and Enigma vibes. Like I was dancing.
And I was about to say, hold on, so long.
No, that Central said that. We've got to say it. Mad shout outs go out to Traffic Experiment for the intro music. Also, shout outs to our sponsors, GOS, Ghosts of Stanton, out of Shenandoah Valley here in Virginia. Also, hello to all of you Virginians. I know we're on some of the Virginia sites right now, and that's because this is all Virginia tonight, baby. This is all.
Hey, I might know a guy that has a pretty good entrance music to a podcast.
Oh yeah,
I know a guy who knows a guy.
Hey, our stuff is good, man. Come on now.
That's right.
That's right.
I'm just saying, variety.
Yeah, that's true. We are going to be changing up.
But you know,
You gotta have.
I messed up because Cortney and Sean are sitting on opposite sides of where they usually sit. When I watch
It's like reverted. We're sitting in the same seat, but I know like my sign is backwards.
Why is it
they're just
crooked
like,
though?
you're small to me.
Because you'd be wilding out.
I know all day I've been having our hands full tonight. I just have a feeling.
Look,
I'm gonna behave. I'm tired, so I'm gonna behave tonight.
we are exhausted, y'all.
Yeah.
People talk about paranormal hangover, but today is real. So we investigated last night. We investigated the fairy plantation. So what do? I still think I'm young, and I stay up for 24 full hours. No.
Girl.
So I woke up yesterday around 8:30. I had to take the dogs to the borders because they just would tear up a plantation. We're just not going there. We investigate. Then we drive out to Virginia Beach. So we were stuck 45 minutes, 3 miles from the tunnel. 45 minutes it took us to get 3 miles. I was livid. So then we finally get past that.
Tunnel.
Yes. So we get past that, and then it's, you got like a little bit of traffic here and there, but nothing like that. So it actually took us 5 hours and 10 minutes to get to Virginia Beach from Lynchburg.
Yeah, my leg was killing me.
I was like, are you serious right now?
Gas break. I was like,
so we make it, we arrive, we go to Ocean Eddies for dinner. Excellent food, excellent spot. Red flags are up everywhere because of Hurricane Francine, which sucks. So the waves were like a mile high. People were flying around. I'm pretty sure I saw some umbrellas fly by the window. So the Wicked Witch might have gone past. I'm not entirely sure. But we ate, and then we went to the fairy plantation. Oh my God. That place is gorgeous. Just from the moment I arrived, it was like you could feel energy just on the outside of the building. And I didn't know, we went into this one and didn't know the history, you know what I'm saying? Because I wanted to kind of go. So we went on the tour or whatever. And then we investigated, and Naya and myself were just hot. We were on it all night. I can't wait to show everybody the evidence. So I did the whole can you finish the sequence? Dun, 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 right?
Right.
I have never in my life, and I already know what Sean's going to say because he doesn't like REM pods, okay? But the REM pod did the entire sequence. Rhonda, I can't make this up. You'd have loved it. The REM pod went beep, 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 beep.
You can't make that.
Cannot make this shit up. So and this was in the parlor room, and if they pull their security cameras, we could have go viral with this video, because Naya and myself looked at each other and we went, no, shut the hell up. What?
I wish Rhonda was there though. You know what that reaction would have been.
Yeah, Rhonda would have said, what the fuck? So
I watched that video the other day, Bill, and I was like,
so it was crazy.
I watch it every so often too, man. It's just our best time ever. You and I are forever bonded by that experience at Belgrove.
Yes,
you guys are. So it just went from there. Well, the whole team ended up tapping at 6:00 in the morning, and a couple team members said they were going to take a nap in their car, but I had gone way past that tired point, right? So I was like, let me be brilliant and drive. So I made it about 2 hours before I had to stop for a break and get out and stretch. But I made it home. We made it home at 10 a.m. this morning. And we slept for what, 3 hours? Got back up because we had shit to do. And here we are. Today called for chicken nuggets.
When does a day not call for chicken nuggets?
I agree.
Or chicken tenders. Or orange chicken. Or
Red Palace.
Red Palace.
Not for a long time.
I tell you what, that Hampton Roads Bridge shuttle will get you though. Hey, it's actually pretty nice when you get to go like 3 feet and stop, 3 feet and stop. What's worse is when you hit that bridge and it's red light and you don't move for like 4 hours and you have to go to the bathroom.
Yes.
I'm just gonna get out and go on the side of the road, man.
Well, that's why y'all have it way better than we do.
That's what I tried to tell them. I said, you just have to whip it out and pee. We've got to get butt naked. Like the whole tunnel's going to see my white ass.
I weigh 400 pounds. Well, I just got under 400 pounds for the first time in like, I don't know, 13 years.
Yes, y'all.
So
Sean is slaying weight loss right now.
So I'll just stand in front of you and block you. You know, people don't know what you're doing. I'll just tell them you lost a piece of jewelry or something.
You hear this shit? Do you believe
it sounds like a good plan right now.
Green beans. Robert said green beans.
Oh gosh, because y'all missed the podcast last night.
Somebody just brought me some fresh green beans from their garden. I need to do something with them.
Cook them with some ham and onions and
Trying to cook them. Like, what do you mean do something with them? Just sit there watch them. They're gonna regrow.
They might regrow. I've seen some shit that I can't explain.
Yeah.
Let's just put that out.
Put them in a pan with some butter and
I'm going to. I got a rack of ribs that's calling my name.
That's what I'm saying. I got some rib tips myself. Y'all may hear me put myself on mute. Of course, I'm over near the airport, so I'm at the studios in Holland Springs, and the neighbor across the street picked this time to have their lawn taken care of, so I will mute myself. Just letting you know, as you can hear. So
tell them to get your lawn while they're at it.
Right. Send them this way.
Hey, Dave, what's he doing? Edging hedges? Edward Scissorhands is your neighbor?
That man's driving an RC car.
He ain't mowing no grass.
Yeah.
Nothing sounds like it.
Scoot over.
If I scoot over, you know what? I'm going off.
Hold on, my chair.
Get away from me.
My chair stuck.
Why is your chair stuck?
My head was blocked right here. All right.
That's because nobody can block your big ass head.
This is like a continuous from last night. I'm just saying.
All right, fine. I'll sit like this for the rest of the night.
Oh, what
All
is
you're gonna see is this big wad of tobacco right here.
Hey, Mike. Hello, everybody.
Hey, Mike.
Gotta make sure we. Now, if we don't identify you tonight, we'll at least make sure to get your comments up. Trust us. But it's an unusual show when we roll like this, and I'm dealing with a hangover, so I'm being honest about that too. Let me see what he said. Isn't that always the way, Ed? Yes, Rob.
Yeah.
Yes.
What's up, Michael Brooks? I got to shout out Michael Brooks, man. That dude, he was in my video shoot. I just shot a music video, and he's got a classic cameo in it. It just
oh my god!
I can't wait to see it.
He's got a classic cameo.
I wonder, did I save like one of the photos of him? Because
I mean, it's like it was a scene where he was supposed to look at me like in disgust. Let me tell you, I felt actually uncomfortable for a minute.
It turned out really good.
I was like, Michael, we're supposed to be acting now. You're being too serious. Calm down.
He had that look, huh?
He missed his calling. He needs to be an actor. He had me nervous for it. I was like, all right, man, you stop looking at me like that now.
All right, so I want to get us back on track because the last 24 hours we have not been on track.
That's okay.
There's some things I want to talk to y'all about.
Not at all.
All right, let's go.
Don't go there, Rhonda. We left it last night.
I didn't go there. Right there. All I'm going to say is last night, go back and watch Paranormal Outlaws because Howie got finally.
Oh, yeah. If Howie got, I'm going back to watch it.
I'm going to watch
all
it.
the stuff that him and Ryan put me through where I lose my shit, he lost it last night. He lost his stuff.
I did. I totally did. They had me rolling.
I love to see when the getters get got.
Oh, let me tell you what. Woo!
That's right.
Between the consumption of liquid and just a good old fashioned hangout, it was a great time last night. So I just want to give
I
props.
apologize we missed it. We were indisposed.
And I want to apologize to any travelers that turned in and went, "What the hell am I watching?" It was you know what? That's how outlaws roll. So tonight's a night that I've been looking forward to for a while because
Hi, baby.
we have a lot of great conversations, a lot of great questions that Sean and Courtney have been throwing around. I threw it at Rhonda once in a while. Rhonda will come out and like, that's a good one. So tonight we're going to have some good ones for you guys for the next 40 minutes. So I wanted to open this up. This is one of those conversations, and all of you in the paranormal and supernatural can join in your chat. We'll make sure that your statements or comments will be heard. So let's go to intelligent and residual haunting. And maybe y'all can have some experience interlude from last night.
Absolutely.
I leaned Sean into certain directions last night, and I'm curious to see if he got any responses from those areas. Two, I'm going to leave this out there, and I'm going to ask a question to everybody. Residual and intelligent haunting. We know a lot about intelligent. We know it gives off energy. We know, the basic factors. But when it comes to residual haunting, does a residual, or do you believe that a residual haunting can give off the same energy as intelligent haunting? And I'm saying, do we really know that residual energy can affect equipment? Here's an open thought. I mean, I wanted to go to this tonight. This is something that's been on my mind for a while. And I'm thinking dimensions, voids. We had this conversation this past week on G3, and we're talking about it still, but it's really becoming a big forefront. Residual to intelligent. What do you think about that?
Well, especially with our last conversation, I'm glad that we're bringing it public, and I think we should bring it public more often. Do I think residual hauntings can affect equipment? Absolutely. I think that if an entity doesn't know or doesn't realize it's dead, for example, and it's just going through its normal basis, it could have more energy or feed off a different type of energy than the last time it manifested. Suppose it's doing the same thing every day, and we put a piece of equipment out, such as what we talked about, the Tesla coil, which is putting more energy out there than usual. Can the residual energy have more energy to feed to manifest, or can it have more energy to go a little bit longer in our line of sight? And also, what we talked about with the cold hot thing. Everybody talks about being cold spots, but you and I talked where I had an experience where it was the exact opposite, where it was affecting humidity. And that energy we talked about was believed to be residual because of where it was in the place we were investigating. And I can go further. I'm just giving you an example. But so I do believe that yes, the residual energy at times, and it can affect equipment, obviously.
So let me tell you a little bit about last night. And I know Sean told me some of the hot spots that you told us to investigate, but as I said in the beginning, there was a hurricane in Virginia Beach that was affecting the weather. There would have been absolutely zero way to get an EVP outside with the high velocity wind that was going on. We actually didn't even knock or, hey, can you knock back? Because their shutters were knocking for them. There was a lot of cross-contamination just being inside of the house because of the wind, okay? There was a weather vane that was creating creaking. The shutters were banging on the at one point, I'm not going to lie, I'm going to throw Sean right on under the bus. We were sitting in the parlor, and the shutter had come unlatched from the shutter lock, and I mean, it slammed into the window, scared the shit out of everybody in the room. We all went, ah! Because it was so loud. So there was like so much going on. But for anybody that's been to the Fairy Plantation, if you go up to the 3rd floor, when you walk up, the room on the right is Nanny's room, and the room on the left was the children's room. Okay. Right. Now, they said after a certain time, they gave me a heads up. They said after a certain time, if you go into the children's room, it really upsets Nanny.
Yes.
Okay. So me and Naya decided to make that our first stop. We went and I set up a music box and I set it in Nanny's doorway facing her room and went into the children's room. Now, our music box also has a REM on it. So I faced both the antennas towards Nanny's room at all. We went into the children's room. We set up Boo Buddy. We set up cat balls, K2s, just basic stuff that kids would kind of be curious and be like, what's this? Let me touch it. And we sat down on the floor. And when I tell you Nanny was not happy we were there, she was not happy. I have an entire 1-minute video on my cell phone, and then not to mention the body cam footage that I captured. She paced in front of her door for 15 minutes straight, just pacing until I said, Nanny, we're not here to harm the children. We don't mean to disturb the peace. We heard a lot about this house. We came to know, a little bit more about it. And the music box stopped and never went off again. We heard a creak in her room, and Naya said that she thought she caught out of the corner of her eye almost like a shadow near the chair that was in the corner of her room. Almost like she was like, okay, well, they're not going to mess with the kids. I don't have anything to worry about. I'm going to go have a seat. Yeah. It's really the vibe I got off of that. So,
Cordy, I don't mean to interrupt, but can you do this? Since we are in so many Virginia groups right now, and we are focusing strictly on Virginia and Hill City, can you let everybody know where Fairy Plantation is so they know where we're talking?
Yes. So Fairy Plantation, and I see Laura Lee's comment. It's actually Ferry, ferry like a boat. Plantation. It's in Virginia Beach, Hampton Roads area type deal. So
trust me, we're going to get to your comments. We just want to let them talk, and then I'm going to have Rhonda, because I can't read worth crap tonight. Have Rhonda read those out.
I have some residual energy too. So keep going, Cortney.
Yeah. Yes, so backing it on up a little bit, when we first got up there, anybody who's investigated, I know John Sullivan has investigated with me and Naya together. Okay. Naya almost shows no emotion on an investigation. She just kind of, and Rhonda, you've investigated with her. She just kind of sits there blank faced
and
quiet. When we first walked into the children's room, she looked at me and she said, something's wrong. And I said, what do you mean? And she said, I feel sad. And I said, what do you mean? Like, I got concerned, my mama bear came out. I'm like, what do you mean you're sad? And she said, I can't even imitate it, with the shakiest voice I've ever heard. She said, I feel like I'm in trouble, and lost it. I'm talking waterworks.
Oh, wow.
And she sat on the floor and she said, I'm uncomfortable. I feel like I'm in trouble.
Can I ask you where that was?
That was in the children's room.
That was in the children's room.
Yes. Okay. So, my instinct was to hug her, but me and her have had other conversations. Whenever you're sad and somebody hugs you, it seems to make it worse and make the waterworks come on 10 times stronger, right? So, I reached out, and then I was like, wait a minute, this is actually fascinating to watch. I'm not happy she was upset, but it was fascinating to watch in person a location affect somebody that way. So I sat down and before I even started speaking, I analyzed the room and the environment. And from the jump is when the pacing started in front of the music box. And it was just like at Belle Grove when John and I were upstairs and the music box would kind of start playing and then stop. An exact, like somebody was just pacing back and forth. So right after going back towards that, after I explained to Nanny and I got Naya calm, as calm as I could anyway, because she still said the whole time she was up there, she felt like, she said, how when you do something wrong and you did something wrong and you get in trouble for it and you feel bad for it? She said that was how she felt. And so after that, what I believe was Nanny having a seat and knowing that everything was okay in the children's room, we had cat ball activity in the kids' room on command. I was like, does anybody want to play a game? Can you roll me the ball? The ball lit up. The K2 was spiking, and then Boo Buddy's arm, his right arm turned red right here, which I believe is an indication of a touch on Boo Buddy. I don't really use him often, so I'm not 100% versed on Boo Buddy, but I believe if something touches him, he turns red. His belly stays green all the time. And then if somebody touches him or he's touched somewhere, he'll turn red and he'll say something to the effect of, hee hee, that tickles, or something. Yeah. So his right arm kept turning red. And then at one point, I don't know if it's one of his already pre-programmed verses that he says, but at one point, right after the arm turned red, Boo Buddy said, what? I didn't hear you. Can you say that again?
That means it heard something.
So, again, the Boo Buddy, the big guy.
Yeah.
With the little backpack on, to answer John's question. So, you know, to wrap that back into what you were saying, the pacing in front of the music box, I 100% believe is residual. I absolutely, that was her job, was to care for the children. And
I disagree though. I think it was intelligent, because if you're in its space and it's not familiar with you, it wouldn't be pacing at that time of night, or maybe.
I mean,
that's the thing about residual. Doesn't residual always seem to happen around the same time? So if you had equipment up there and nobody had walked in, like nobody was like in the room trying to make equipment going off, and the equipment went off, wouldn't that be the residual? So at this time of night, she went and checked.
Well, I feel like it's residual solely because like the music box is not a piece of equipment that could intelligently be manipulated. So that's why I feel it's residual, because she doesn't know that music's going to go off when she walks in front of it. It's a motion sensor. So there's no way, there was no intelligent, I didn't say, hey, Nanny, if you can see me, can you walk in front and make the music go off? And then bam, it did. Now, with that being said, and I can send the video to you, Howie, if you want to share it, that's fine. I did say at one point, Nanny, if that's you pacing, can you step away from the music for a moment? And the music cut off. And then it started back up. Did I consider that to be intelligent? Not 100%, solely because the music cut back on almost like maybe 5 seconds later. But what Naya and I did is we tried to create a pattern. So, but we couldn't. Like the music, at one point it was like 5 seconds apart. One time it was like 13 seconds. One time it was like 30 seconds. At one point, it was going off like every 3 seconds. So there was no actual definitive pattern, which is why I came up with the term pacing. Because when you pace, you don't count your steps. You're just pacing. So.
But what if you can have both intelligent and residual at the same time?
Okay. Let's do this. Let's throw a number 3 into this whole mix.
Let's hear it. I love these conversations.
What if it's dimensional? Okay. Dimension and time, a split in a time continuum.
You and I talked about that.
Exactly. we just added a third factor into what we've never considered in the field in the past to what we're learning now in the field. So now we've got not just 1, 2, but we got a trifecta of possibilities. That's what intrigues me, because fairy, one of the things I've always wanted to do is go back to fairy and do nothing but one scientific evening of gathering all the electromagnetic charting I possibly can. Where do we have activity? Where's the compasses activated? Where are the K2s activated? Where's the tricorder? And get a time.
Right.
That's so, because I give it, there's a place that I know that y'all have talked to me about that's highly active with EMF. Well, for me, fairy has always had that kind of energy. I mean, I've experienced a lot at fairy.
I was going to say there is definite energy at fairy.
It's a lot,
because I'm about to hit you with another scenario that happened in the parlor. I keep calling it the dead room. It's the.
Can we go back to one thing real quick before you start on that?
Before we do that,
dimensional. That's where I was wondering if that's where residual and intelligent meet.
I mean, that's a good possibility. But Rhonda, go ahead, and then before
here's
we go
the one
into
thing I want to throw out there is that we say residual haunting, right? You don't have to be dead to have it, or on the other side, no longer alive, to be creating a residual haunting. And the reason I'm going to say that is just because, and I don't remember the exact, I'm just going to paraphrase kind of what she said, but we do a lot with MJ Dixon, and she was talking about how one morning, like her morning, like progresses this. She's like, I get up, I think she said, I go down the stairs, I go turn on the coffee pot, I do whatever. And one morning she came down and she said she saw herself fixing the coffee. So
that's not a good sign.
You can actually have residual energy of people who are not.
I mean, that could be a whole nother topic, though.
That's a whole nother topic because now we're
now
going
you're
into
getting into like mimics and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Mimics.
What are they? What are they
the
called?
time continuum. Doppelganger.
Doppelgangers. I could. Thank you. That's what I was looking for. Now I'm wondering, like, did you pick up something and put it in your pocket and bring it back home? And now
See why I say we don't know shit about the paranormal? Because the experimentation, all the theories, all the possibilities are endless.
Yeah. We don't. We really don't.
That's my favorite quote.
But I mean,
but I love listening to everybody's theory, though.
Now to go back to that, when the music box was going off, I decided after a while to put a REM on Nanny's bed and see if I could produce an intelligent response. Nothing.
Gotcha.
It didn't beep one single solitary time.
Well, let's move on. Let's get these comments in because I don't want to leave our people behind. Rhonda, go ahead and
we're going to go a little bit backwards. Robert White said doppelgangers could have been an entity that can mimic. If the doorways are there, inhabitants might be thinking there are ghosts, but it could be us they are hearing. That's true.
Yeah.
We talked about that.
Laura Lynn said, "Oops, didn't you say Nanny were not here to hurt their children when you said the pacing stopped?"
Yes, that is true. So, I'm kind of on the fence about it. I feel like the entity itself was residual and maybe the communication was intelligent. So now you've just meshed the two.
And that's where we go into dimensional, I think. In my opinion. I could be wrong.
But on the flip side, how do I know she just didn't get tired of walking around and was like, F this, I'm going to sit down. This is crazy. I'm just going to sit down and watch them and make sure. You weren't there to her. So I don't know. That's where I struggle with that whole like intelligent word because it's like, I don't know. I don't know why the pacing stopped. It did stop after I explained to her the reason why we were there, but do I know if that's why it stopped for sure? No. There's two Rhondas.
There's two of me.
I don't know how the heck you pulled that off.
Two Rhondas.
Y'all's worst nightmare has come true. There's two.
No. There's two of you.
We love Rhonda.
All right, where are we at with comments?
Now, two Sean's or two Howies, you got a problem.
Jesus, I'm logging off at that point.
But Rhonda, what was your theory that you were going to bring up?
Well, no, that was just the thing that I was going to say. Is like, if you can do it, if it can happen, and somebody can witness their own self in their own domain doing the same thing, it's like, I don't know. Is it, or could you be seeing somebody who? I guess my theory was, could it be somebody else who has just been there investigating, just pacing back and forth?
Yeah. I don't even know if it was Nanny, to be honest with you. I don't know that for fact. I mean, it could have been somebody else that was like looking, because I know, what I would like to think that I know that is if I pass away and a stranger walks into my house, I'm going to be like, who the hell are you? Like,
until you tell it while you're there.
So, I mean, again, it goes back to what Howie and Sean constantly preach. We really don't know. But I'm about to, after we get off this, I'm about to hit you with a question, Howie. Once you finish these comments, I'm about to hit you with a serious, we had a scenario last night, and I want everybody's thoughts on this. Rhonda, Howie, everybody in the comments, everybody. So I'll wait till I'm given the go ahead.
No, go ahead, girl. You're good. Let's do this.
So moving past Nanny, and I actually called Sean in with his tri-field and everything else to try to help me debunk this scenario. So after that, we decided to make our way down to the parlor room, which is where they would hold all the wakes. So it's when you walk in, it's the furthest room to the right.
Now, before you go in there, a little history about that. Did you know George Washington actually played on that piano?
It was Thomas Jefferson.
Thomas Jefferson, too. Both of them did.
Oh, I didn't hear about George, but I know they did tell us the story about Mr. Jefferson.
Yep, pretty cool.
There was somebody else, too, and I can't remember.
Lafayette, I think.
Lafayette, yeah.
Lafayette. And to give a little history, From Whom the Bells Toll actually comes from this location as well. So
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That is cool. I did not know that. So we go in there, and for those that don't know, Naya and I investigate with very minimal equipment. I'm sure Rhonda knows that. We go with like REM K2, Spirit Box. I've got a little mag light. I'm not 100% convinced about a mag light, but I'll break it out. Like if nothing else is going on, maybe I can get some response. So we set up a K2. In the middle of the parlor room, there is an antique gaming table. And on that antique gaming table is a old photo album with post-mortem photos. Okay. Ooh. It was opened up. For those that don't know, there's history at the location of a young child by the name of Bessie, who she passed when she was 4. And there has been EVPs caught. When you ask her age, she will still say 4 because she passed away. Was it the day before her 5th birthday or something like that? So she never actually celebrated her birthday. So she still thinks she's 4. There's reports of her hugging your legs and feeling like you're getting a child hug. And then the other photo was George McIntosh over there. So this was already pre-opened on the table, and we don't touch stuff, at investigations. If it's open like that, I'm leaving it like that. Now, in this case, I asked permission to touch this photo album. And the reason was I put a K2 on it, and after about 15 seconds or so, the K2 started spiking. Sean had already set a baseline in that room. There was no electricity on that table. The table's dead smack in the middle of the room, okay? So the K2 is spiking, and I'm not talking like little green flicker. I mean, it's going all the way up to red, back down. Intelligently at that, like I would say, hey, if you're right there, can you make it go to red? And it would go hold for a second and go back down. So, immediately with K2s, I'm not 100% convinced from the jump. So what I did is I picked it up and I kind of held it over the photo album. Nothing, no spike. I set it down like towards the table. No spike. I moved it off of the photo album onto the table. Nothing. Put it back on the photo album. Spike.
Put it on a different picture too.
So that's where I'm going with this. So then me and Naya started having that tech talk, so to speak. And I said, let's try putting it on Bessie's picture. Because at the time it was facing George's picture. So I picked it up and I put it on Bessie's picture, which is on this side of the photo album. Nothing. Put it back on George's photo, spiking. But when I asked if we were communicating with George, could he touch the red light that was across the room on a sofa? It did not go off with the name George. So also for those who have investigated Fairy Plantation, there is an 8-year-old who is a prankster and likes to interact with everything. So across Spirit Talker, we do use Spirit Talker. Across that app, I got the name Eric, which I thought was super cool because, and I'm dumb. Like, to be honest with you, I'm dumb. I'm listening to the tour, but I'm like, you guys just gave me 20 names. Like, I am not going to remember these names. So when Eric came across, I didn't think anything of it. Mm-hmm. But then Naya said to me, she said, isn't there an 8-year-old that likes to run around and be rambunctious? Maybe he's setting the K2 off. What was his name? I said, I don't know. Let's go ask the guide. And Cody was excellent, by the way. We had Cody. Okay. And excellent guy. We ran in to the dining room and we asked him, hey, what was the name of the 8-year-old? And he said, Eric. Well, that was another oh shit moment for me and Naya because we completely bypassed it, not even thinking. But my question now, going to my question to give you a little bit of what was going on. We proceeded with this photo album to flip the page, put the K2 in the same exact spot, but different picture. Nothing. We went through every picture. Do you think, here's the questions for all the weary travelers, as Howie likes to say, do you think that energy can attach to a photograph?
Yes.
We even put a different K2 on it.
Yeah. Oh, I done grabbed every damn K2 we had for this because I was tripping.
And the only reason I say that is because taking classes for mediumship and for psychic work, a lot of times we're told to bring photographs in, they're put in an envelope, and we're supposed to feel the energy of the photograph through the envelope without seeing it and write down what we think we're feeling, seeing, understanding. Is it one person? Is it two person? Is it a male? Is it a female? So I do 100% believe that energy can attach to a photo.
Keith said he's had to pull a spirit out of a photo before. Okay, so I agree with you.
That's a whole different.
That's what I did. I had to break it down and explain to everybody. So much like you went through your classes for mediumship, when I was studying photography, it was actually believed at one point that it was like unheard of to take your photograph because it would take your soul.
Yes.
So that's immediately where my mind went when I realized that this one photograph was causing K2 spikes.
Yeah, it's funny you went to witchcraft. It's funny you went there because that's a witchcraft thought. It's a Wiccan thought. Now, on the flip side, the ironic part is the most reason why Fairy Plantation is so popular is because the lady who owned the location originally. It's supposedly Virginia's first witch.
Yes.
So this is interesting that you brought that up out of nowhere. I'm like, ooh, I like it.
Crazy that you say that because that's not the story that they tell you now when you go on the tour.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah. So the story when you go on the tour states that Grace actually lived in a whole nother county.
Yeah.
And had a farm and stuff like that. And then I even read a secondary story where the reason the location is popular is because that's where they actually performed the ducking was out behind the Fairy Plantation. Come to find out that it actually wasn't. It was up near Witch Duck Road.
Yes, way up at the Duck Road. That's why it's called that.
I love it because I love listening to like historical locations and they're different. First of all, I do my own personal research. So you're going to get a story from Google. You're going to get a story from whatever you can find on the internet. Then you're going to get the historian story. And then you're going to get your paranormal activity that most of the time may match up, may not. You know what I'm saying? So it's almost like a big game of telephone. And that really is like, as a child, that's what we did. If I whisper to Sean right now and say, Rhonda's wearing a black shirt and it goes around 10 people, Rhonda eats dirt. Is what you're going to hear at the very end. You know what I'm saying?
But here's the thing. You showed it to Sean. 10 people heard it, but you also put that into the conscious collective. So how many entities out there heard it as well?
Right.
Transmutation. Back and comes returns.
Right.
It depends on your belief now. I'm just going to put that. I'm not saying that's the way it is for you folks. So don't come at me. This is my belief. This is my theory of the last 5 years is conscious collective. What we put out, it comes back. We are like televisions. We're like radios. We're like CBs. Goes out, but what we get, we put out there, just like our energy, positive and negative, it comes back. That
goes all the way back biblically. I mean, speak it into existence. If I wake up every day and I say I'm gonna have a shitty day, I'm probably gonna have a shitty day.
Exactly.
Like I used to think those self-help tapes were crazy growing up. I really did. I'm like, who the hell sits in the mirror and says, I am great, I am beautiful? Exactly. But like, if you've ever really like had a self-help talk, it really works. Mm-hmm. Like there are some days where I have to remind myself, like, Courtney, you do not look good in orange. We're not going to do that today. And it helps. Guess what?
I have those talks with myself. It's pretty for prison.
But But going back to places like Fairy Plantation, the history there dates back so far that they've got 11 known spirits, but God knows how many else. I mean, at one point we attempted to set up a party in the parlor and it was effective. I'll let you talk on that a little bit.
Yeah, we have a
Roast Amway.
Yeah, we have
Family. That's
one of
funny.
our team members made a whiskey bottle REM pod out of a real whiskey bottle, but she put all the electronics in it to make it into a REM pod.
Super cool device.
So she put that there, and it started going off. And I have the cigar that Ron Wood, Booze Paranormal, shout out to him.
Mm-hmm.
He made, and we put that there in a pack of cigarettes. That's a REM pod as well.
We have a cigarette REM pod.
And we
shout out to
I can't remember who I got
Haunted Angels.
No, that's
that recommended us to get it.
Yeah, and we put that on the table, and it was all just going off nonstop on the same table as that photograph was.
These spirits wanted to party.
So this leads me to a question. Y'all asked the question, and I got to put it in there right now. On this photo album itself, was it the old school photo album that it had construction paper and the pictures were put inside it? Did it have a film over top of it? No film. So it's
no film. Cardboard cutout with the photo in the middle.
Okay.
Are photos made of different materials?
Yes.
Is what?
I said, are photos, like old time photos, are they made of different materials?
Yes, I believe so.
They are still made of a material that could be.
Some of them were carbon.
Yeah, they were carbon. Now, and I'm not saying this is the case, but there is a possibility that photo album itself could have been statically charged.
Well, wouldn't that be every picture, though?
Well, hold on. You calm down. I'm kidding.
I was about to say it too, Rhonda. Thank you. See?
I've got to jump to both. I got to look at everything. So with the possibility of it moving, which it did not do, right? Y'all did not turn the pages?
No, I did. I did once I started to go, but not prior.
So there were certain pictures that you were getting hits on.
Only one.
Just one.
One. Okay. Again, I've got to look at everything. I'm sure y'all did the notorious testing. Y'all looked at all the EMF. Y'all did all the hitting. Did you put a compass over top of it?
No.
Yes.
Oh, you did?
Yes,
okay.
did.
I called Sean in when I couldn't figure it out because he's got all the tech gadgets. And I was like, can you come help me? Because this is tripping me out.
Thank you, Ken. Yeah, well, that's why I asked. Because if the book itself was statically charged, the compass may have reacted.
The compass did not react.
There, okay. That's beautiful. That's telling me that it's not
the pocket compass?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Telling me that it's not the picture book itself.
Yeah, and I even closed the whole album like to the very front where it says album.
Right.
And tried to put the K2 on top. I put the K2 next to the album. I put it above the album. I mean, I tried everything. I could not. So then I asked everybody in the room the same question that I just asked everybody. Do you believe that energy can be attached to a photograph?
Right.
And, like I said, if you go all the way back to like Victorian days and things like that, the number one statement that I heard recently was at the cemetery. Somebody said, if we still practiced Victorian burial beliefs, we wouldn't have as many spirits today. And that's because, they had certain practices like covering the mirror.
Yeah, I could see your point.
When somebody dies, and the reason that they cover the mirror is because you go into the light, and what does mirror do? Reflects light. And so if you believed that if you went to the wrong light, you got trapped. So, same goes, a lot of those photos were post-mortem. So how do you know now I'm thinking out loud. How do you know when that flash didn't go off that the spirit went to the light and got trapped in the photo?
That's a good point.
Bravo, Courtney.
That's really good point.
Because what happens with these, if you're familiar with the original cameras, it was a slate that got slid into the camera and it was a flashbang. And that flashbang, all it did is the lens just opened up really quick, caught the light, and imprinted it. I just used that word, imprinted it onto this slate glass.
The very first faking evidence happened back then.
Exactly. Yes, it did. Now, the ironic part to this is we go back into it And we've lost that technology. Did you all know we lost that technology?
Yeah.
How to make it a 3D picture?
Yeah.
It's really scary. It's really, really sad that the techniques that we have lost over 150 years, which were now most people like, oh, that is so cool. Well, that's why I had the viewfinders, the whole nine. So thinking about the flashbang on through the glass, the platelets, I can see that. I can see that now. Back in the day, I would have said bullshit, but now what I've all the research that I've done, and I agree with you guys. And Rhonda, that's what I was trying to say is I agree with you on this, that there is a good possibility that the picture itself could have been imprinted. Yeah, absolutely. So weird. You were talking about photographs. I just put up a 10 picture of my great grandmother on my Facebook. But I got a picture of my grandmother too. So that's interesting. Mirrors are also doorways to cover doors. Yeah, I agree. It just, it's very valid. It is a valid point. But remember what I've always been telling you guys, that if you know your Einstein, you know your Tesla, they both said you got to have the spiritual with the science to have paranormal. Yeah. So you gotta put it all into spectrum. And Cortney, yeah, I will say congratulations. I think that was a slick catch and a good thought process right there.
I agree.
I mean, when Sean staged his party, though, I mean, even all the way down to that, like I said, we never really pinpointed who we were communicating with while we were there. The only one that I truly believe, like I said, was the pacing with Nanny, because that was her room. That's where she stayed. That was going on. But when Sean staged the party, I mean, there was stuff that you got that you couldn't explain.
What do you mean staging a party?
So when we were talking about, I forgot what initiative. I have to go back and watch the film because so much was going on at that point.
I think that was a date. Wasn't that a date that they had a party?
It was somewhat. Yeah, it was a date. The tour guide was telling us about. That was the date where they were having a party.
September 14th.
Oh, okay. Now I got. Okay, I had to go back. So something that
I was gonna say, you pull in. They were already throwing a party on that date, and a hurricane in the ocean. Gee, Monique,
thank you. Right.
I thought, and
I didn't even think about that.
And he was actually telling me the story about how the year before, on this exact date, he went outside and he saw a ship pull up. And then he called in the other workers, said, "Come check this out. Like, I hope I'm not seeing things." And they came out and saw it as well, and saw people coming off. And then when they got back to the house, it was all wet right there. Yeah. And it hadn't rained. And he was telling us that story. So he said there's a party on this date. So I knew that Carrie had made the whiskey bottle REM pod. It's really cool, actually. It's a real whiskey bottle that's she cut off the bottom and put electronics in it to make a REM pod. So when I was like, hey, I got a cigar. That's what would have been at a party at that time. So whiskey, tobacco. And so I put the cigar REM pod that I have there, the cigarettes. So I staged what would be a party. And the cigar was being touched nonstop. The only way for that cigar, and you can get Ron Wood confirmation, the only way for that thing to light up is contact. You have to actually touch this one. There's no getting close to it. You have to actually touch it.
And it doesn't make noise, right?
And
it does glow. Yeah, it glows at the end.
And I purposely got Ron Wood to design that cigar to not make noise.
Let me ask y'all. Do y'all want to go over the hour period?
I'm cool with that. Yeah,
I'm cool.
So the cigar,
ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go over our 8 o'clock period, and we're going to continue the show.
He's trying to say I talk too much, y'all.
Not at all.
No,
not at all.
Because y'all are too much fun.
It's okay. I do talk way too much. I was excited.
I got Ron to design the cigar so it doesn't make noise. I feel like a lot of equipment that makes noise, especially if you're dealing with something from back in that time, they're not going to understand that.
Well, if you touch a cigar and it goes beep, 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 that's going to scare the shit out of you.
So I got Ron Wood to make this. All I wanted this cigar to do is it's a movie prop cigar. So only the cherry of the cigar lights up. Right. And it looks like a real cigar. And it's sitting on an ashtray.
Well, you got it close. Do you have it near you?
I can. No.
All your equipment's over here.
I can get it real quick.
Yeah, why don't you get it out?
All right, I'll grab it.
And Howie, while he's doing that, I inboxed the same inbox that you sent me the link. I sent you the video of the music box, the pacing. Now, I only took 1 minute and 22 seconds. See, now you cut the light on. Now I'm shiny. What is this?
Shiny happy people.
Robert said you're a wealth of information. Don't worry about it. I talk way too damn much. I don't care. When I get excited about something, and yesterday was so exciting, like just it was like constant. But when the activity stopped, it stopped. I will say that. Now, the one thing that the tour guide did say while he was there is that the spirits of Fairy Plantation feed off of energy. So if you're a high energy, good spirited, in a great mood, ready to communicate, you know, you've got that tone of voice that they want to talk to, whatever the case may be, like you are more apt to get activity there. If you are a skeptic, you're going in with a negative mentality, you had a bad day, the chances of you getting stuff at Fairy Plantation is on the fence there. And after investigating it last night, I will have to agree with that statement, because it was just, you know, Sean makes fun of me all the time because when I communicate with child spirits, I get the mom voice on them. Is there anybody here that wants to touch my REM pod? That little like playful, like you talk to the dogs. You know what I'm saying? Yep. If I'm talking to a man, I'm gonna, you know, be a little bit more stern. Or, you know, we did a location in Kentucky recently where there was a hateful woman. Well, I'm not gonna be like, "Hey, hateful woman, you want to touch my REM pod?" No, I'm gonna be, you know, my tone's gonna be a little bit different.
I got a good gun case for it.
So we're what? Shayla said same. Yeah. So, you know, you gotta, I don't know. I guess I try to have empathy when it comes to spirits. Like, you know, if I ever, well, I can't say if I ever pass away, I'm going to pass away someday, but if I ever get the opportunity to come back and interact with future paranormal investigators, I'm going to be more drawn to the people that are more positive. So this is the cigar. Is it on?
No.
Cut it on really quick. I was going to touch.
So cool. I wasn't even expecting to look like
that. As you can see how the cherry is lit up. If you get close to it, that's all you have to do.
But you have to get really close to set it off.
Yeah, like you were right there. No, right here. I'm about right here. I guess you can't see how far away I am. So I'm about maybe 2 inches?
Yeah.
Yeah, about 2 inches. Mm-hmm. Something like that. But either way, you know, Boo,
I'm going to get my finger to it.
I'm going to shout out Boo's Paranormal on this because more often than not, we get all the bells and whistles and all this shit that goes beep, beep and ding, ding and, you know, all this stuff.
Hey, don't talk about my ding, ding. My best evidence is called.
Because of Rhonda, I will put a shout out to Rhonda. Because of Rhonda, we now investigate with the bell that way. Like we actually ask it. Howie knows. He's, you know, seen us with the bell. Can you make it go? Can you ring the bell 2 times? Ding, ding. We always do the dings, however many we ask. And, you know, same with the REM pod. I found myself recently doing that, and Howie was with us. I said, all right, we're getting ready to get out of here. Can you say goodbye? You know, and the REM pod said beep, beep, like goodbye.
Yep.
You know, things like that. So, you know, at the end of the day, we're putting out all these bells and whistles and all this crap that makes all this noise. If I'm a spirit, I'm going to be from the 1700s or 1800s. I'm going to be like, what in the hell? But I know what a cigar is, and I'm going to want to pick it up because that's the last thing I did. I sat here and had a nightcap and drank my cigar. And when I grab it, where'd Rhonda go? Oh, there she is. You know, so Sean was a genius for coming up with that idea.
No, and I agree. I've always thought like the ding dings and the loudness probably scares spirits off. I'd be a little like, what the like, think about it. When you go to Walmart and you walk out and you accidentally, for whatever reason, they didn't scan something right and you set off the alarm, it scares the poop out of you.
Yeah.
Rhonda done told on herself.
Yeah, I mean, you're right.
You're right.
But that's why
The first thing we do is throw our hands up.
That's why I asked Ron though if he can make something quiet.
Yeah.
And the cigar, I think if a cigar was the beat, it would scare the hell out of somebody.
Oh, Howie's got my video up. Cool. So this is a minute of the pacing.
Okay.
Nanny, if that's you, can you walk away from the box and make it stop? God, I sound like Lois Griffin. Thank you. It's like she's pacing back and forth. I provide commentary on all my videos, y'all. It's like back and forth, back and forth, back and forth.
I felt fine. I felt like I was in trouble.
Oh. Nanny, are you upset that we're up here disturbing the children? How many children did you take care of? Now I zoom in so you can see that the sensor is not facing us. Now this went on for 15 straight minutes. That was just a brief video I got, so I can put on TikTok or something like that. But the body cam footage has it all, and I am going to put it together because the tour guide does want that. But again, I mean, what are your thoughts on it after seeing it? I'd love to hear it. If you guys think that I have a defective music box, let me know. But that was fresh batteries.
Here's the first thing. This is a groundbreaking show for us because that's the first time I've been able to connect anything like that to the show. So to be able to give that evidence live right now, what? Orion is growing, baby. That's how we're rolling this. Second of all, I found that very intriguing. And I'm going to tell you why. This is based off personal experience. And this is not it's a Howie thing. It's giving confirmation of what you experienced. 8 years ago, same location, same place, exactly where you are. I had set up EMF sensors down that hallway, 4 of them. And ironically, they would go off simultaneously and come back. Now, I was with one of our investigators, Britt, who was with me at that time upstairs. And she witnessed it too. And she was like, what the hell? And I'm like, that's intriguing. So you're getting the same response that I did 8 years ago. I think that's phenomenal.
I do like to hear that. I do like to hear that there's confirmation because, again, this is what we're doing. Each team that goes into a location, we're literally just taking the previous investigation and confirming.
Exactly.
And that's why we preach para-unity so much. If we all, stop being assholes and got together and put all of our evidence on a table, you would be very surprised at how much your evidence at one particular location coincides.
True.
You know what I'm saying? True. And then you may forget that you got a piece of evidence at that location in that same exact spot. And once somebody tells you, they're like, oh yeah, I did that too. Let me show you mine. And now you're comparing.
So the rope light in that area, I have a tracer, and I will talk about the tracer light.
I love that thing. I love that tracer rope. I do.
I use it.
Oh my God, I love that son of a bitch.
I'll tell you what experience I had with it, but to get to Kashan, the Envoy device, you might have to ask somebody else because I do not own one yet, and it's a personal thing for me. I know investigators have great experience with it, but I've got an Obelisk that has a yes or no thing on it, and I probably have used my Obelisk on 2 investigations. I bought the Obelisk because it has that sensor on it that detects footsteps. And we were at a museum, and the cat balls weren't just lighting up; they were actually moving and flying off of the thing. So I wanted the I wanted the eyelids to make sure we weren't having an earthquake or anything when that was going on. But as far as the envoy goes, I can't answer that. But and we can get to that in a second.
I'm going to follow up with something with that, Sean, because this is something I'm going to throw out there and see, what you think about this and what y'all all think about this. I want to create a yes and no box, but I want to put 2 magnetic poles on each end, so they can actually put their finger or put it, the energy. If there's energy there, it would breach and make an archway between the 2 magnets to get a yes and no.
I've got something similar already. I forgot what it's called.
It's called a decision maker.
A decision maker.
And it's a lot like the
a lot of mediums use it. Rhonda, you might have. Hold on, let me grab it.
We happen to just have all of our equipment here from our investigation last night. Guys, you want to see it? We got it here, live and in living color.
That's why we went 2 hours.
It's called a decision maker, and it works a lot like the best description that I could give you is the magic 8 ball. When you shake it, you get a yes, no, or a maybe. So this is what it looks like.
I have not seen this.
The decision maker, you see here where you got never, always, yes, no, and maybe.
Okay, so it's like a pendulum.
You put it on a flat surface. And it's magnetic. So if I say, like, are there any spirits here that are with us? And I let it go. The idea is that magnetic polarized. And it tells me always. I live in a haunted house. Do I know if that's paranormal? No, but that could be used as,
not seen
So, I mean, but again, you literally, it's fun because you just hold it up and let it go, and it just kind of goes.
A magic 8 ball.
Yeah, it's one of those. I bust this out if I have like kids on my investigation that want to like play with it or something. Do I honestly believe that this is going to give me a 100% accurate definitive? But I don't know. Again, we don't know. But there's a magnet under here and a magnet on the bottom here, and again, wherever it ends, you never know.
We never know, because I tell you what, K2s to me K2s have always been kind of suspect for me.
Yes.
But then recently at the last investigation we did at Belgrove, they were responding, like you said, all the way to red, and it was kind of like,
See, and I use a K2 as a yes/no device.
That's how I use
it. I don't even. Sean uses a thing like Howie and Sean's favorite device, the tri-field. Create your baseline, figure out where it is, and then if I'm sitting in the middle of a room and I have the K2 out, such as on the photograph, if that is you that's right there, can you make that green light go all the way to red? And then Sean goes a step further than I do, and he'll actually say, can you make it go all the way to red and hold it for 3 seconds? And he'll count down 1, 2, 3.
And it's done that. I have haunted dolls that have done that.
And it will hold at red until Sean says 3 and drop all the way back down. We've had that happen. So again, that goes all the way back to what Sean's preaches all the time, what Howie preaches all the time. We really have no freaking idea about the paranormal.
But I will say, in that same location, Howie, where she had the pacing, we laid the tracer wire, and it after a while, it reads the temperature spike for it to go up, then immediately back down. And I've never seen it do that. It actually sent a blue light, like a solid blue light for temperature down. Remember how we were getting the temperature spike up for the heat?
The purple.
Well, the purple. All right, so it would go purple and then blue right behind it, or it would just go straight blue, like a straight cold spike. Now, I did pay attention to the fact that there is a lot of air conditioning up there, but for a constant fluctuation of temperature, it has to be 2 degrees or more. So temperature doesn't just fluctuate like that in a room.
Right.
It's not instant up and down the way it was reading on the temperatures. And even on my weather station, it was going up and down. It was fluctuating consistent with that. And I'm like, well, that goes back to what we were talking about, how it's not always cold with energy. It can spirits also come off of heat as well.
Agreed.
Well, I know this when I'm doing Reiki or I'm doing readings or something, I get hot.
See,
you know why you're getting hot?
We're gonna start three-waying you on these conversations.
No, I'm gonna tell you why you get hot. So
I'm sweating. Terrible.
I used to have a Reiki masseuse, and she explained it to me one day because I used to tell her when I was getting my massages that I used to get freezing. And she used to tell me the same thing, that she was hot. And she would wear a bandana like around her forehead. And she said it was to catch sweat so she wasn't like sweating on people. And she said that when performing Reiki, that you absorb all negative and positive energy from the patient. I'm going to say patient because I guess it's somebody you're working on. So technically it would be a patient. So that's what you're doing, Rhonda, is you're absorbing energy.
Usually I get hot. Like sometimes I'll feel the cold spots, but a lot of times it's more about the heat.
It also depends if you're placing energy. So that's back and forth. So just
good point.
Everybody has different ways of doing energy healing and transfer. Most common is what y'all are talking about on the Reiki side.
Right.
There's other different forms too. So
bring up the spiritual side, Howie. Because you and I talked about that.
Well, we as humans absorb energy, period, daily.
Correct.
I mean, if you walk into a room full of negative people, you've even said this, that you just automatically just kind of get negative.
Oh, it doesn't even take a room full. It takes one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Rob says if the spirits come from Australia, then heat will probably follow.
Along with spiders the size of my face. Okay.
And kangaroos.
Yes, kangaroos.
What a pressure the house during the storm where they're up in spikes. Oh.
It was actually consistent. The pressure stayed around, I think it was 30.2. I got to write it down.
You were reading the barometric pressure.
Yeah, I kept my eye on the barometric pressure the whole time I was in there.
We just want to put this out there. Robert is a part of ASPS, so he does have a good background in the paranormal. Of course, he's the reason I'm in the paranormal. So, he's asking us with legit questions. Yeah, right. Both of us.
Born in this house.
Yeah. So yeah. Now you asked. You said go to the spiritual side. Okay.
Of heat, because everybody talks
transfer.
Everybody talks about cold, but I've had different experiences that you and I've talked about.
Exactly. I found in the research as well is not only is it cold to hot, but hot to cold. It is a possibility. We have to think. Here comes science playing with spirituality. What happens to elements that are cold when they start to speed up? They become warm, right?
Warm, yeah.
This is natural science. So if the entity, I'm not going to use any other word, I'm going to use entity. If the entity is drawing energy from the cold, it's going to amp up the elements, if you will, to go faster because it's drawing that energy. So that's going to draw a warmth in a cold location. It's the complete opposite of what we go with. Oh, there's a cold spot. Oh, there's something going on. You got to think outside the box. What is it that you've experienced but you did not realize? Maybe you've got a warm spot in a cold location. How many people have ever said that? Now that you're going to think this and hear this, you're going to go, oh, shit. Fusion and fission, it's all science. We've got to think not only are they drawing from us, but from the air, so that maybe the colder it is, the more strength they have to pull from the air because it's slower. The air is colder, which is slower. So they're going to draw. When they draw, it warms that area up. Hence, why I believe there's more activity, not all, I said more activity from September to March or in those months because they're able to draw more energy off of that.
I mean, I agree because at the location that we're speaking of, and Kashan brought up.
I was going to say, I want to get to some of these comments.
I wanted to talk about.
Start with this one first.
Now we did keep getting hints of elementals across Spirit Talker.
Which would make sense there because of the Indian population.
Well, not just Indian.
Native
Here's
American.
the other part. No, well, true. But also piracy. This location's known for pirates.
Yeah.
Big time.
Yeah.
Well, they
were bringing in the exports and stuff like that.
There's a tunnel that's still intact under the home that goes out to the water because.
Oh my God, you know about that tunnel?
Yes, there were goods.
The Shanghai tunnel.
Yeah, there were goods that they didn't want to be taxed on, so they would.
Because taxation was really big back then.
Yes. And we found out yesterday about taxation. We also found out, and I didn't even know this, they used to tax people based on room. So that's why you don't see a lot of 1800s homes with closets, because that was considered another room and they would get taxed on it. So there was a lot of armoires, wardrobes, and things like that. So if you go into a home that was built, early 1800s, and you see a closet, trust and believe there were some renovations that were done there.
Yeah, if you could stand in it, they believe it was an extra room and they could tax you for the extra room.
Okay, so a little history about me. I worked for a real estate appraiser in my life. And the only way to classify a room as a bedroom is if it has a closet.
See, and now I'm going to hit you with another one. So that must be like older homes, because we have an extra room down off of our bedroom that cannot legally be classified as a bedroom because it doesn't have a window.
And it's got a closet in it.
Oh, that's interesting. Because I'm considered a 3-bedroom house because my dining room has a closet. And it's like right off when you walk in the back door, it's kitchen and it's right here. That is not a bedroom.
I was going to say that's crazy because they consider our dining room to be a bedroom and then our office to be a bedroom because there's windows. So where we're at, it's based on the windows, not the closet. But go ahead and get to Kashawn and Sri Lanka. Love it.
Kashawn said, when you give the spirit when you give the spirits a countdown, because they respond in that time frame. I mean, I've heard they need some time to gather energy and do something. I know there are no definite answers, but anyways, Kashawn, Ed and I talked about this on G3 last week?
Last week, yeah.
How we talked about we are finding more devices that are producing more energy in the air, and that's ramped up our activity and our locations that we've investigated with. The Tesla coil is the one that I've been experimenting with, and I think Ed has been experimenting with as well. And we're letting the air completely ionize before we investigate, running it for 20 minutes I think I ran mine for 40 minutes before we started investigating. And I've seen our activity increase from putting more energy in the air. So that's why, in my opinion, yes, there can be a delay if you're not using energy enhancement things, but we've been, since the jump, I've used energy. I've used EM pumps, high powered with conversation for today. But I believe crystals absorb it, rocks, different types of absorb a lot of energy.
Well, I'm gonna answer that in a second, Robert.
So we put a lot of, just as throwing it out there, we put a lot of energy in the locations we investigate. While we're investigating, prior and during the investigation.
Not to mention, we bring our personal energy.
I was going to say, I think it's about the energy of the group, because we had that when y'all have been to Belgrove. So we were in the basement last time, and we kept, honestly, John bought a new tipping table, and we put it in the basement. And every time we put the K2 there, it would light up. It would light up. It would light up. And finally, at some point, we had this group that was really interactive. We were getting some kind of crazy stuff. I was like, all right. Here's what we're going to do. We had the REM pod sitting on the table. There was a cat ball. There was another K2 on the floor, another K2 in a chair, and a REM pod. And I said, you know what? Here's what we want to do. Light up the K2, the cat ball, the K2, the REM pod, and we're done. Well, guess what? They didn't do that order, but it was K2, REM pod, cat ball. Like, it went down. I was like, okay, we're done. We're done.
That's how we roll too. That's awesome.
That is actually
And it's
awesome.
one of those things where I think because the group was so excited and literally everybody started hooping and hollering afterwards to the
I love
point
it.
the people upstairs go, "What were y'all doing down there?"
Partying with spirits.
But I'm glad
Like,
you brought
we
that
realize
up, Rhonda.
when that
baby.
happens.
But Rhonda, I'm glad you brought that up.
I think our energy and the energy of the group, like it just goes back. Don't go in if you're depressed. Don't go in if you're sad. Don't go in if you're not ready for all of it. You know what I mean?
I think you're dead on with that, and I'm glad you said it. I'm so glad. I almost wish I was recording because I talked about
We
that.
are recording.
I talked about that on our podcast before. That
Yes, you
one
did.
person in the group being negative can affect the entire investigation. But when you have a group where everyone is together and we're all hitting it,
And gung ho.
you have a great investigation.
But again, that goes
They're
on
just shy
energy
and they don't want to
level.
ask questions and stuff. It's like, come on, guys. I can't do this by myself. I need y'all.
You got a whole group of people and everybody's sitting back like that.
And they're not even skeptics. They're just shy.
I feel like that has to do too
Right,
with the
yeah.
spirit. So let's say, like, you know, let's say the four of us were doing an investigation, okay? And spirit comes in the room, you may be more intriguing to the spirit than any of us.
Bingo.
You know what I'm saying? So if you're sitting there and you're not talking to me as a spirit, I'm going to look at you like, why aren't you talking? I don't want to talk to these weirdos. Like, I want to talk to you.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, it does take, really, honestly, it is a team effort. If you go, even if you buy, you know, a ticket for a public investigation because you just want to see like what it's about, like, you know, at least come with a little bit of intrigue behind you, I guess would be the good term. But I want to back up to answer Robert White's question. He said he was getting a lot of energy from the white section of the house, and
I saw that too.
asked if it was the morgue. So just a little
From
bit of
what section?
the white section. Like if you pull up the house on Google, so it'll be the middle section of the house because you got brick and brick. Okay, so the house actually was originally a courthouse.
Exactly.
And a jail. So the white section that you're seeing, I think the energy that you might be picking up on from there was the room that I was referring to. The parlor room was also known as the wake room. So there was and for those that don't know the history that they gave me on that room in particular, and back then the practices of wake is, for those that don't know, they would literally lay you in the middle of the floor and try to figure out if you were actually dead for 4 days. So they would sit there, they would line you with rosemary and thyme and all the good smelling stuff, because after 4 days you're going to stink, right? And then they would literally try to wake you up for 4 days. After the fourth day, if you didn't wake up, then chances were you were probably dead. So then at that point, they would use Howie, you can help me on this, the little bowl music thingy.
You talking about your sound bowl?
Yeah, but there's a cool name for it. I call it the bowl music thingy.
So go with that. That works.
They do that, and he actually played that last night. And God, if I was pretending to be dead and heard that, I would literally go like this because it's crazy. So
what it does, it gets into your nerves.
Yeah, it hits you right here.
Yeah, and it wakes you up. If you were knocked out, it has the effect of the pepper under your nose.
So after the fourth day, they would drag you over to the nearest church and put you under the bell. And they would ring the bell.
Exactly.
And if you still didn't wake up, you were dead.
Where the term "saved by the bell" comes from.
Yes.
So also, for whom the bells toll, they tied the string to a bell at the top of your tombstone. So if your toe wiggled or if your foot wiggled, the bell would ring. And
Yeah.
they know
Where the term graveyard shift came from.
Exactly. That place actually a lot of terms came from.
Well, they did away with the practice of tying the string to the toe because that would mean somebody would literally have to be in that graveyard all night long.
Yep.
Why? And
now here's another thing about that. That's why somebody was always at the top of Fairy Plantation. For the longest time, they would have a guard at the top. It used to have it was like a bell housing that somebody would actually stand in, also at the church. So the church, actually, where the ground was, somebody was always up in the top chancel of the church to hear for listen for bells. And you're exactly right; they took away with that.
Yeah. Sean, I think, is asking you, sorry for the 20 questions. Do you guys use the Delco method? I haven't heard of that.
Well,
I'm gonna be
first of all, Krishan, we are invited to this show to answer all
20
your
questions.
20 questions. We like answering questions. We love an interactive group, which y'all have a great interactive group in this lobby, by the way.
Before we go any further, I have a question.
Oh, Lord.
I don't know if I can answer.
Y'all have anything going on next Sunday?
Yeah. Let me look.
We're going to look.
You're like, I don't know,
know
baby.
what we have going on till the day of it.
I know, that's why I'm asking, just to see.
As of right now, no.
Y'all want to continue this next Sunday?
I do.
Yeah, because we are going a long time. I don't have a problem with it,
Yeah.
but you know.
Let me put it in my phone this time because
Yeah, I forgot all about it until you sent out.
look, I sat down, got real comfortable with my chicken nuggets. And then I said,
we
You always eat your chicken nuggets with us, Courtney.
were not going to let y'all down.
If I had known, I'd have had chicken nuggets with you.
I'm thinking this would be great. We can continue this conversation and other locations around Virginia that we've all investigated, talk theories.
Can we talk about the cemetery?
And talk about the cemetery. So,
I want to talk about Belle Grove with Rhonda.
Yeah,
see, there you go.
Talk enough about Belle Grove.
We can go into Hill City
Never
Part
enough
2.
about Belle Grove. Just like there's
You know what,
never enough
other
about the
locations-
cabin or the cemetery. We got stories, y'all.
One of my best pieces of evidence came from the cabin.
Hold on. I want to catch up with this. Hold on. Ronnie
Better than
said,
mine and yours, Sean.
It's not better than ours, no. But those voices coming from that music box at the cabin, you know, I still that kind of blows my mind. But yours was the best because it was the first time I ever used that piece of equipment. And you actually taught me how to use it because I was about to throw that thing out.
I mean, I think that's just something people forget, that when you're at plantations, especially in Virginia, if you're in any location in Virginia, to think that people knew how to count or spell is very facetious.
we knew that all along.
Didn't, you know what I mean?
I'm not laughing at you, Rhonda, but Ronnie just made me choke up for a minute.
Oh, God.
He choked.
Let's not talk about choking while Ronnie's telling you something.
No. But seriously, Sean, if you get better evidence than what we got that night, I need to come to that location.
I'm telling you right now, I'm going to top y'all's with this REM pod.
No.
I swear to, look, y'all going to make me mad now.
Listen, if you go back, I challenge you, Rhonda.
Orange is not my color. Orange is not my color.
I challenge you, Rhonda, to go back and listen to it, cut the volume up. I've heard that bell go off several times, and I've got other evidence of the bell going off. But when we were doing that at Belle Grove, it sounded like something actually smacked the bell. Like it
did.
It does. I've listened to it too. It does.
It sounds like something's going on.
Like, I'm not joking now.
You know what? Do y'all have video of that? You do have video of it, don't you?
The bell? Yeah, actually, I do. Can I
you send it to me? We can do it for next
That's why
week.
we have disclaimers. So Ron is
what makes that evidence so good, though, is not so much the bell; it's what happened afterwards.
Keep talking.
With Rhonda and Shonda. Rhonda and Shonda made the video great.
Send these to me, and we're going to set this up for next week. We're going to really dive a little deeper into physical evidence. So you guys can see this.
I don't know which one it is. I was going to say which one.
It's Belle Grove.
Yeah, I know. I'm in Belle Grove right here.
Yeah.
We got some videos from the cemetery that we can bring up.
Yeah, you don't have it labeled. You've got Belle Grove session 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Yeah, that was when I was just.
You got a whole week. You got a whole week. Find it, send it to me. Send me the stuff from the cemetery, and we're gonna rock it out next Sunday.
Yeah,
all evidence.
So
let me throw a disclaimer out there.
We fake all our shit.
I gotta throw a
disclaimer. I'm just kidding.
I'm telling you what, at 4 a.m, Rhonda ain't faking shit.
Thank you. I'm glad you put that out there.
Barely keep her eyes open.
I am so glad you put that out there because, and I don't give a shit. I'm gonna say it. we got accused of faking evidence because it was 4 a.m. and nobody jumped up and down doing jumping jacks, shouting for joy.
Yep.
Like, fuck that. Like, I'm tired.
We didn't have snacks that night.
Oh my
No,
God.
we didn't. Listen, let me.
Yes, huh? Shonda brought like cheese and crackers.
Yeah, but we didn't know them then, so they didn't give us none.
Yeah, Shonda didn't share her snacks. You know what?
Shonda was the only one with snacks. We were
That's okay. That's okay.
He was prepared.
Next time we investigate together, we will start a potluck list.
We're gonna have a buffet.
I tell you what, Shonda can bring some good stuff. Though she's got pickle dip. She's got this like boat dip. She's got. All these
I got a mini crock pot just waiting to go on the road.
We're gonna bring Howie too. Howie's coming.
Okay, so check this out. Let's do this. Let's roll this into next Sunday.
Okay, Howie, tell us.
Delco method. I understand what you're saying now. I didn't know it as that. I called it something completely different. You can actually use spotted goggles for this as well, which I have because Rhonda and Kim got me a pair of goggles or glasses.
I'm not wearing goggles around Rhonda ever again. She got me flipping, looking real dumb with these big googly eyes.
Nothing to do with it.
Wait, snacks. I'm just catching. All right, so let's do this, you guys. You have a podcast, so get that podcast out there because I know you got a show this week. So let people know where they can find you for this.
Y'all, this is going to be one that y'all don't want to miss. I'm hoping our guest shows. I'm sending out my confirmation list. Email today. But we have author Olivia James joining us on Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and I'm not going to give it away. But Howie, you want to tune into this one too.
They're going to get into an argument.
They might, and that's okay. But we're not talking all things just paranormal.
Yeah, we're going into conspiracies
and some other things. So you guys definitely want to jump in because everything goes hand in hand at the end of the day.
Absolutely. I would definitely turn in if I can. Of course, that's during my work schedule, but I try to tune in to everybody when I can. So absolutely. Travelers and those like this has been Hill City Paranormal right here on the Orion Effect. I am the quintessential social media hitman himself, Ed Odell.
And I'm Rhonda.
I'm Cortney.
And we love y'all. I'm Sean.
Absolutely.
We just picked him up on the side of the road. He came along. He was cute. I put him in my car.
So what we're going to do is we're going to schedule a Hill City Part 2. We're going to bring you some physical evidence on video, some EVPs.
And we've never done this before.
It's been never done on this show.
We don't typically share our evidence.
Oh, this would be good. What's the channel, please? Right here. Same bat channel. Oh, what's y'all's channel? Where can they find you guys?
You can find us on Facebook at both Hill City Paranormal and HCP Paranormal Podcast. Hill City Paranormal on TikTok at symbol Hill City Ghosts.
And you'll catch us on the Orion Effect a lot too.
That's
Howie
right.
and we get on here and talk our trash.
Thanks for the subscribe, Robert. I just got a little pop-up notification. You're the bomb. We love y'all. And I believe we've got a Halloween spooky special coming up with Rhonda too soon.
We do?
You know, it's crazy. It's going to be a lot of good Halloween specials coming out.
Nobody told me.
Yeah.
Look,
we just jump on everybody's podcast all around here. You got one, holler at me. I'll jump on there too.
Yeah. When is that Halloween special?
If we're ever needed, y'all just call.
Unity.
When's that paranormal Halloween special taking place? What day?
We were asked to jump on the, please correct me if I'm wrong, freaking awesome paranormal show with Ryan and Rhonda.
Okay.
You're going to ask me the damn
Which
date.
they're freaking awesome too.
Everybody's
shout out Ryan
freaking
Jones.
awesome. What day is it, Rhonda? You should know this better than me. I've got it in my phone. Hold on.
It's somewhere near Halloween. I think the 27th.
The 29th.
I'm sorry, Howie.
Yeah, it's not going to be the 27th.
Not a Sunday.
The 27th is my Halloween special with Rhonda.
Oh, we'll jump on there too, shit. Everybody.
How
You're talking to me.
Myself, 747. on the 27th, we have a special Halloween special
we do.
too, and
That's
it's going to be a
like
little
Rocky Horror Picture Show.
It's going to be a little rocky. Rocky. No, it's going to be fun. Yes. All the next 2 months, 3 months, you guys tune into this show.
Howie, you got to send me a reminder because I forget everything.
That's right. Tune into all of us. We got it going down, baby.
Robert, yes, we are on YouTube as well. Hill City Paranormal. We've got like a little white logo with like a little cemetery, and
it's mainly podcasts, but we really do not share evidence. Howie's a good friend of mine. Rhonda's a good friend of mine, so we don't mind sharing it here. But we
Shayla said, "Let's do the time wrap again." What?
I think she meant the warp.
Time
warp again.
Oh yeah. I was like, time wrap. Wait a minute.
To the left.
It's Rocky Horror. I like the little. I got to tune into that one because I seen it a couple times, and I like the little. What is he? The Venus flytrap.
Wrong movie.
That's
Yeah.
Oh, that's Little Shop of Horrors. You're right. You're right.
Horrors.
I need to.
I might
put transvestite.
The sweet transvestite.
Oh, that's right. I need to brush up before October 27th. It's been years.
All right, so we got to wrap this up.
Let's go.
I'm sorry. You could have known better than putting us on here.
I know, but that's why I wanted to go a little over. And I'm like, we're going to go next weekend too. Screw this. So, travelers and those alike, thank you for tuning in tonight. We did go over. We will probably go over next Sunday. We're going to bring you physical evidence, some EVPs. We're going to bring you us back again. There's something I want to say. This is when I get a little serious.
Okay.
We have a lot of solar storms that are taking place. There's a lot of natural storms taking place. There's a lot of energy out there, you guys. Travelers, listen to me. Got to make sure you have your surfboards at hand. Things were a little rocky a couple of days ago. There are going to be some serious waves you're going to be hitting. Ride these like a pipeline because it's going to be interesting, the energy shifts that take place from here on out. Just make sure to help another traveler out. Help yourself out too. Until then, we'll see you on the other side.
Hi, guys. Humans this week.
Thanks for having us.
Oh, always.
We love y'all.
Love you guys.
Thank y'all for tuning in too, those of y'all watching.
Bye-bye. It is. May virtue.
Get some good sleep, y'all.
Yeah, get some sleep. I got to go find some pickle juice.